Welcome back, everyone. On today's episode, we address questions on abandoned cart message delays, the length of email, multiple pop-ups on your website, AI, online shopping experiences, and email marketing pet peeves. I'm Greg Zackwitz.
And I'm Gabe Bactaluso. Greg, did you know that in June of 1783, the first sustained hot air balloon flight occurred, sailing around 6,000 feet high? That's impressive, right?
What a coincidence. It's around the same time the Mile High Club was founded. At least that's what it says on my membership card. Welcome, everybody, to today's show. You know how it works. 5 topics, 3 minutes each. We run long, we move on and apologize later. Before we get started, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. And if you have any email questions for us, leave them in the comments section. While we talk about email today, remember, great email marketing does not have to be expensive, and Omnisend proves that every single day. So be sure to find out more at omnisend.com. Gabe, on our last couple episodes, we spoke about delays with automated messages. We initially tried to get through cart abandonment. We didn't even touch it, so let's tackle that today. Gabe, what do you suggest for timing for abandoned cart messages from trigger all the way through finish?
Yeah, so I was really excited when I saw this question on there because I think there's a lot of nuance we can get into it. But let's just start basic. Let's say you have 3 emails in an abandoned cart flow. And I think it's important to understand what channels you're connecting with and what channels you're sending through in terms of how you determine the best delay. So 3 emails to start with. My go-to is 1 hour, 24 hours, 48 hours. I think that's a basic, safe bet. Obviously, depending on the product, if there's a sense of urgency there, if you're constantly going out of stock, you're going to want to get that out faster to try to help your consumer. Because there's nothing worse than a support ticket from a customer that wants to purchase and can't because the product's out of stock. So you have to know your inventory levels and know the demand for your product. If we're throwing in SMS, we talked a little bit about this in a previous episode when we talked about like abandoned browse versus abandoned cart. I still think an SMS is going to be first. So I think if you're going to incorporate an SMS as your first touch point, 30 minutes. If you're going to do it as a second touch point, so email first, we have that hour delay, SMS second, I would probably send it like 4 to 6 hours after you send that initial email. People get busy, they do different things. Really, this is really kind of is important to understand why are your shoppers abandoning checkout. So what step in that process are they abandoning their checkout so you can better understand how you need to engage with them and what kind of information they're looking for. Greg, what about you? Good. What delays do you see?
Yeah, we've got a lot going on here. So the 1 hour, 24 hours, 48 hours is, I think, a good baseline to do. I've gotten a little more aggressive over the years, probably because I love aggressive football, always score, always be on the offensive. So I actually go, if we're just talking about emails, I go 30 minutes of the first email, and then I go 12 hours between each one. And I would actually do 4 messages. Now, you mentioned there's a sense of urgency with products. There are also products that require a little more, like you think about a TV, right? You have more research time, obviously adapted for the products you're selling. But I go aggressive on email only, 30 minutes, 12 hours between, and I do 4 messages. However, SMS, I'm a proponent of SMS in abandoned cart flows. I would then switch it to exactly what you said, 30 minutes for the SMS message, if you're going to start with that one, and then bump the email to maybe 1 hour. Play around with it. I mean, every brand listening has a better idea about what their own products are, what the sense of urgency is. I go aggressive because I say the more time they have not to get the message and more time they have to shop elsewhere, less chance I have to get them back. So that's where I go with that. Poke holes in my theory, Gabe.
Yeah, so we could even say, hey, let's test and let's argue, what if we send an abandoned cart 5 to 10 minutes after the abandonment? And some people think this might be really super aggressive, but we've seen studies that 50% of the time a sales deal closes is by the first person to reach out. And so if you have someone doing comparison shopping, if you have someone doing like a high ticket item, I think engagement rings or like high-end jewelry is one that's always kind of interesting in terms of how quickly do we target someone with abandoned cart messaging and that follow-up, because obviously that's a big ticket item. It may be multiple parties involved in that decision-making process. But if that's the first thing that you see, you're most excited about it, you're going to be engaging with it. So maybe we go even more aggressive and we really kind of just hammer it home. I think on the flip side, we talk about 3-4 messages. I've seen some as long as 10 or 12 messages. Yeah. And I know people think that's bonkers, but as long as you keep seeing a return on those messages and you can set them up and forget them, this is not, hey, don't turn on abandoned cart until you have 12 messages live. It's you start with 3, then you add a 4th, then you add a 5th. And if you don't have any, start with 1. Just 1 if you're going to make money on it.
Yeah, and Hector's already yelling at me here, but I think that's the point, right? I don't think you need 12. I've seen really long ones, 6 or 7 before. And those are generally products with a lot of not comparison shopping, but a lot of competition on there. So to me, it makes sense, right? You're generally going to get diminishing returns with the subsequent messages. If you're sending 4 and the 4th one is getting 0 conversions, right? It's a pretty good indication. You should probably cut that down to 3, maybe throw an SMS in there, try different channels here. So we are way over time, but I love it. If you have your favorite timing, things that worked for you, please put them in the comment section below.
All right, Greg. Our next topic is about whether length matters. How long should an email be?
Oh, woo. All right. We talked about size before. Now we're talking about length. This is crazy. So there's no right or wrong here. Obviously, I think people are scroll happy nowadays, right? They're opening on their phones and they're just going to scroll through. A lot of times they don't even see the hero image, right? They just shoot down to below. So I think you have a little more leeway than maybe you did 10 years ago to have a longer email. However, long emails, people will eventually tune out based on how they're constructed. So here's where I go. This is what appeals to me. This is what appeals to my wife. We did some fact checking here. So hero image up top. I don't care what's in the hero image. It could be branded. You could have the call to action in there. You could have products in there. Just make it a nice hero image. Kind of get everyone there. Some sort of product intro. It could be text. It could be in that hero image or a static box, whatever it might be. I do a product feature, so either suggested products, new arrivals, on sale, whatever it might be. So we want to introduce some products there, have individual things for people to click on, try to catch your attention, maybe from different categories. And then I do some sort of recovery banner. So it could be value adds about free shipping, return policies, whatever, sign up for SMS programs, whatever it might be. So you kind of had your 4 components there, your hero, your intro, text / image, whatever, some specific products, and then some sort of recovery section. If it's too long, they're going to abandon it. So that's where I kind of go with it. Gabe, you're in the email consulting side directly with brands a lot more than I am these days. Where you got?
Yeah, so I know this is kind of our default fallback, right? You have to understand your consumers. I've worked with brands where we tried to adjust a template from 3 columns to 4 columns and see if we can get more products in there, change it up a little bit, maybe try to make it a little bit cleaner. And the amount of support tickets they had about their consumers hating the design of the new email, it wasn't what they were used to. They wanted their mail order catalog, and that's the layout they loved. And so we switched back. But we wouldn't have known had we not tested, right? So in terms of length, I love kind of how you broke it down into those 4 sections. Super easy, digestible. I always tell people, don't overthink it. Keep it simple.
No.
People are lazy. And you have to have that large buttons. We're talking more about what content goes in the email than necessarily length. But to me, it's like short, fast, and easy. Click the button, buy now, save now, whatever that call to action is obviously going to be the biggest thing there. Talking more about content rather than length, we can maybe dive into a later topic that we're going to get into. And I'm going to talk a little bit about length in our 5th question. So a little teaser you have to stick around for. But that being said, you can be smart about it. Like, I love user-generated content because it's that lifestyle image and it adds easy content to your emails. What you don't have to complicate is you don't have to have a provider that's automatically pulling these from your Instagram or social media feeds. There's nothing wrong with just grabbing a static image off your Instagram, using a hashtag, kind of saying, hey, this is what we're doing with our brand, and then linking to those products within the picture. You can be very flexible with that. You can kind of create this illusion of like some sophisticated dynamic feed in your email, but you don't have to do that. So play around with it, test around with it before then, investing in that technology where it really kind of the value is provided for you. So that's my kind of take on it. But I love the 4 sections, and I think we should write it down. Trademarked Greg Zakowicz.
So they're going to go, okay, I put 25 products in my third section there that Greg said, right? And then it becomes too long. 25 is too many. So take it for what it's worth. All right, our next question comes from a viewer who is not my mom or any relation to me, which I love. Is it okay to have 2 pop-ups, such as one for the initial welcome, get the mail collection, and another for exit intent? Gabe, what do you think?
So I'm sure there's going to be some people out there that are going to hate me for this, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I think you give the power of choice to your consumers. And are you going to have people complain? Absolutely, because that's what people love to do. Is anyone going to write into your support channel that says, I love that you had 2 pop-ups? No, but every time you see a conversion because someone went through the exit intent welcome flow versus the entrance welcome workflow, like that is your signal that this is working. And people do subscribe to this ideology of, when I come onto a website, people always are kind of taken aback by it. I'm like 3-second trigger, if not instant, right? And, I love analogies, so I can kind of assume this is the idea of like someone walking into a store and you're like running up to them, be like, hey, welcome, give me all your information, right? And that seems aggressive if we put it into a real life context. But when we're putting it at the front of our store and our online experience, and we're saying, hey, we want to know about you. We want to make sure we can help you as you go through your shopper journey. Here's 20% off. Some people are going to ignore that, right? We see if you have a 6% submission rate, you're doing great, right? Then that's not a lot of people signing up. So to me, it's like, okay, we have 94% of people that have not engaged with this pop-up, have not given their opt-in. And so hitting them on the exit is like, hey, we were here for a little bit. You enjoyed the shopping experience. That's where I'm going to add trigger filters. Like maybe you view 2 pages, 3 pages, if you really want to kind of be nuanced with it. But I think even saying, hey, if someone's getting ready to leave immediately, you can go ahead and ask that. Because the worst thing that happens is you don't get their contact information. We spend enough for acquisition. We spend enough to get those people to that website. Let's try to capitalize it on much as we can. What say you, Greg?
Yeah, I like the comment about trigger filters, right? Makes tons of sense there. So I'm like you. I like near immediate pop-ups when I get to a website. Now, if it's the first time I'm there, what you said is 100% right. Some people are going to close out of it because they're not sure about your site yet. And what happens when you decide you want to get the email, or you remember they got 20% off and like, oh, I might want to buy. So many of these brands now, they don't have prominent call outs for email subscriptions. Sometimes you have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. And if it's a preloading, like a self-loading page, when you get to the bottom, you're never getting into it, right? So you got to go incognito mode. You're making people do work at that point. I personally think it's okay as well. And I think for the exact same reasons that you mentioned, Gabe, right? Not everyone's going to commit right away and then they want to commit, right? And they're trying to do something. Or if they want to do comparison shopping, maybe they're unsure and they're going to check out the normal store they go to see if they have a similar or same product. You can capture them at that point. I would just say, right, are we going to duplicate the thing that we offered them when they came onto it? This is where you probably want to test some different verbiage or whatever. So we can assume that one, we closed out of it and maybe they're leaving for whatever reason and it's really not a big deal. The same text could work, or they're leaving because either the offer wasn't there, you didn't make an offer, like a discount for signing up or whatever, which perfectly reasonable not to do as well. But maybe there's something there that you need to get them back to. So this is where you maybe want to change your verbiage a little bit. Can you make it a little bit different, a little more time sensitive? Maybe you do a bigger discount, whatever it might be. But if they're willing to leave, you want to get them to come back. What the heck is going to make them what is going to make them come back to you? And that's really what you should be focused on at that point. And again, if you want a baseline, test out the exact same verbiage, not the same verbiage, but exact same offer or call out to sign up for your email program. Maybe the intro is email, maybe the exit is SMS. Hey, never miss a flash sale on SMS, right? You could play around with these things, but I think it's okay to have 2. You want 3? Probably advise against it, but feel free to test it, right? And we're going to
I know we're over on time, but you mentioned content, so I'm going to squeeze this little tidbit in. I think content's huge, and this is exactly how you get to introduce your brand voice. And I know we talked about this in previous episodes, but like, just remember to have fun with it. I think we so often, and I know I say this a lot, but like we get distracted by this idea that we have to perform, we have to be professional, and like you can have fun with it. One of my favorite pop-ups was, hey, sorry, we're the a-hole that's asking for the email address in this pop-up. Like it's immediately a pattern interrupt and goes, okay, they're on the same side of the table with me. This is annoying and they know it, but I get that they have a job to do and they're trying to complete this transaction of getting my contact information so they can follow up with me. And I think that's fun. It's great.
All right, Hector is crushing me, but I'm going. So let's stay on this for a minute here. So sorry, Hector. So here's the other thing too. If they leave and never come back, what is the thing you want them to remember you by? And this is something, so to your point, have some brand voice. We both love social proof, right? User generated content. You could do something with verbiage and have, hey, 10,000 or 1 million 5-star reviews can't be wrong. Sign up for an email, so you never miss a sale or whatever, and just try to maybe use some social proof that you're not using earlier on. Even if they don't sign up, back of their mind, when they're shopping at that next store, maybe it's the first time they're shopping there, they're going to be thinking, ooh, they got 1 million 5-star reviews over there. Maybe I'll go back and try them, right? So small last-ditch efforts can go a long way.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to our industry topic, Greg. This is where we get serious in the show, which is about AI-based shopping experiences. Newegg just launched Home Showcase, their interactive online shopping experience. Will AI change the way we shop online?
Well, I'll give you the definitive answer. Maybe. So I saw this headline on my RSS reader where I get my news, and yes, RSS readers, it's still a thing, but you can aggregate stuff pretty well there. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So let me go play around with it. And I go to Newegg. I love you, Newegg, but it's got this like picture of a house, and you click on your rooms, and you click on the room, and then it shows you top rated or comment products for that particular room. It's a visual navigation bar is all it was, right? There was nothing really, like, they recommend some stuff, but there's nothing really there. It's a spin. It's maybe a bit of a PR thing. I mean, it's a dabble, right? First step, always a good thing. See what people like. I think people are a lot more visual now. You think about Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a bad move, but really from a shopping perspective, it didn't really do much for me, right? There was no added benefit for me in the future. We had things like VR for furniture, right? You hold your phone up, you can visualize the room. I think VR shopping, probably not in the next 2 years, but I think VR shopping with the headset is going to be a legit thing. I think we're going to have people whose job is it to design, just like they do in a store, planograms and stuff like that, and shopper flow. I think that's going to be a thing coming up. Will AI be involved in that? Absolutely. I think for what we're seeing from the Newegg thing, it's a good first step, but really it's just a visual navigation bar to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the idea of this augmented reality or VR shopping is going to be the bigger thing. And I don't have a dedicated link to an article, but I know I've seen where they're doing these go big scale designer home showcases, and where they can actually go into a giant warehouse. The blueprint is laid out on the floor. You can literally walk through your front door in this giant warehouse. You can understand scale. You can see where the walls are, and they literally will also pop up like the elevation of the building. So as you're standing, you can literally see what you would be seeing from this position. To me, that's, obviously AI is involved in that. Going one step further in terms of standing in my house, I want to be able to see my kids playing in the backyard, and the AI being able to change that design plan so that you can, move a wall, see a window, obviously going to enhance the experience. Do I think it's going to push conversion? Probably not. Not for the foreseeable. I think in the short term, maybe long term, I think this is all about hey, we know more than you kind of situation, or we're going to know what works better. I think another example of this is we have a customer that sells raised garden beds, and I see that they have a virtual garden design tool. To me, if I can plug in my house and they can see the sun, and they're going, okay, this is where you need to lay out your beds, and here's the plans. Great use of AI, right? Yeah. Takes all the work out of it. If it's me just clicking and dragging and going, oh, I like this bed here, I like that bed there, it's a virtual reality shopping experience. So it will be interesting to see. It's also going to be a heavy investment. I'm really curious to see, we're having a lot of fun with AI right now in terms of here's these free resources. What happens when they flip the switch and go, hey, we've got something here, we need to start charging people for it? Does that ROI balance out? So ride the wave while you can, and it's free. Have fun with it.
There you go. Everyone else, maybe you don't have the investment to make in it. You're cool.
Yes, absolutely.
Frankie says relax. All right, our final topic today involves something a lot more personal to me and you, Gabe. Email marketing pet peeves. So let me ask you, what is one of your top email marketing pet peeves?
Okay, I'm going to go with 2. I was thinking about this for a while, and I'm going to limit myself to just 2. So, number 1, not having everything clickable in an email. We talked about the hero image. This is what I was alluding to before. There is nothing worse than clicking on save now, and then it just does that little float thing in your Gmail client because you're trying to download the image.
Got one over the weekend.
There you go. There it is, right? Doesn't work. Number 2, if I do click to unsubscribe from your email, I don't want to opt down. I don't want less emails. And I don't want to be told that I'll stop receiving emails in 7 to 14 days. Now, I'll tell you that the big guys are the guiltiest of this, like, oh,
Yes.
we'll unsubscribe you in 30 days. I'm sorry. You have enough money and enough technology that it should be a one-click unsubscribe, right? Like, if I'm taking that specific of an action to say, I don't want to hear from you anymore, do not make it painful for me. And I get that they're trying to save the consumers and it works for some of them, but personally, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Because most of the time I can just delete emails, I don't care. But if I'm actually going, okay, I'm annoyed enough at this brand, I want to unsubscribe, like, we're done, we're over. I don't want it anymore.
So if they take, say, 21 days, well, just go 30 days to unsubscribe you, and you've clicked unsubscribe, do you actually mark them as spam after, say, like 2 weeks?
Oh, yes. The next email I get, I'm like, spam, spam, spam.
There you go. Lesson learned, folks, if you're watching. Okay, so I'll give you mine. It's receiving a promotion immediately after making a purchase, especially with a discount. Drives me nuts. I want to drop a curse word there. This is especially problematic during like Q4, right? Anytime in the holiday shopping season. I give you a little bit of a pass during the holiday shopping season because it's kind of inevitable it's going to happen. But this is where, like, I'm a big proponent of post-purchase messaging. I think every brand should have it. I think it's underutilized. I think I've seen it drive tons of repeat sales. But what's going to happen? I'm going to buy something either on a discount or maybe full price or maybe a mixed bag in the shopping cart. And then the next day I get a deeper discount. What's my go-to? What are you doing, Gabe? Right? We're emailing customer support and saying, hey, I just purchased this less than 12 hours ago and now I'm getting 20% off more. And then most good brands will say, okay, we'll credit you 20% or we'll refund you the extra, the difference there. They're losing margins, right? Even if you don't have a post-purchase series, which you should. Give them a couple days break, right? Put them on a suppression segment or suppression, list or whatever, however you're managing your contacts there. Give me a 3 to 5 day break. If you've got some messaging in there, great, help the purchase experience. But that is mine, getting that discount just days, even sometimes the same day after I make a purchase.
Yep.
I don't need it.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely because you're going to be getting all the post-purchase order confirmation, shipping confirmation emails anyway. You're going to be excited about engaging with that brand.
Yep.
And we're going to be injecting content into there that says, hey, here's some cross-sells, upsell opportunities, leave us a review, all that kind of stuff. So no need to hit them with the normal marketing sends as well. So I like it.
Absolutely. If anyone listening or watching has an email marketing pet peeve, throw them in the comments section. And Gabe, Hector hates us today, but the inbox is full. So a friendly reminder to all of you out there, if you have a question you want us to tackle, leave it in the comments section. Find us on social media, LinkedIn probably, and don't forget to click and like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed learning something today. Thank you to our producer, I Cannot Talk Today, which is awesome when you're doing audio things. Thank you to our producer, Hector Salamanca. I'm Greg Zackwitz.
And I'm Gabe Macaluso.
Be sure to check out any past episodes you may have missed. And while we talked a lot about email today, remember, great marketing does not need to cost a fortune. Omnisend gives you all the tools necessary for success, offers 24/7, 365 live support, and costs 40% less than those other guys. And that's what they call a trifecta. So if you're interested, check out the link to Omnisend in the video description. And if you want to learn more how to write attention-grabbing subject lines that convert, check out this video right here. Until next time, happy marketing, everyone.